First inaugural game. We start off with Wojo pulling to Scott's team. Scott swings to the open side. Matt looking for something upfield. He's going to need to dump it. Swings break side to Scott. Right back to Matt. A little give and go. A little clogging in the backfield. Matt again getting it off break side to Scott. Scott gets an under to Mike Long. Matt gets the discs. Mike Long making a strike. Catching the disc in the end zone. And that's 1-0 Scott Wojo. Seems everyone's got their man. We got a hand. Disc is coming in. Matt rips a low one down. Fielded by Matt Ferris. It looks like it's Joey Wojo back. Oh, Wojo making cuts. Mike Long with the interception. Motioning for a downfield. Puts it out. Received by Matt. Oh, stall count's getting high. He's got to get this off. Puts up a floater. Barely missed by Mike Long. Sean taps the disc in. Joey puts it upfield. Right over Matt Ferris's head. Should have reset to Gabe. Mike Long needs to get it offline here. Ooh, looks off Scott. Still gets the cut though. Scott with the break sides flick. Matt almost looking for a hammer here. Puts out the disc and is fielded by no one. Joey with the pickup, always looking deep, puts out a blade. Ooh, Scott thought he had the read on it. Legs didn't work. Didn't get up for it. That's a point. Got a hand disc coming in. Puts out a nice floater into the end zone. Fielded by Walshy. Almost turfing it, but Scott saves it. Nice strike cut by Matt. Seems as though they're having a backhand force. Scott receiving the disc with power and putting it out to Matt Marsick right in the end zone. Easy play. And the disc is up. It's out of bounds, about 5 yards. 5 yards in front of the end zone. Matt Ferris fielding the disc. Andy looking for that end cut. Ooh, with the D by Sean. Picks up. Looks to make a play. Gets it off to center field. Walshy, looking off Matt Marsick. Had it with power. Should have put it out. Walshy needs to be ready to pull that trigger. He had the throw. He had all the time. The mat-on-mat action. Taps it in. Gets the breakthrough off to Joey, center field. Joey looking deep. Fakes a flick. Gets the breakthrough off to Andy. Really forcing it break side. Gabe gets it back center field. Matt Ferris puts out a low ball. Oh, it's turfed. Sean with the pickup. Looking for that swing. Gets it off to Scott center field. Scott faking. Needs a better in cut. Gets the under to Walshy. Andy with the weak force. No force existing there. Straight up marking. Joey forcing sideline. Sees that he doesn't want anything back center field. Forces a bad throw to center field. Intercepted by Gabe. Puts up a high release. Floats it right down center to Joey. Easy point. Great defense. Gabe flicks off the camera. With the chicken wing pull from Gabe. Oh, it almost felt like they were running a zone there. Or Wojo was poaching off of Scott. They still get the turn. Upline to Gabe. Gabe trapped on the line. He needs help. He needs to swing. Puts out a floater. And it is caught by Andy in the end zone. That's a break point. Puts it out. They're looking for another. Fielded by Mike Long. Puts out the disc to Scott. Almost taken in by Gabe. Low throw to Walshy. Ooh, fielded by Mike Long. There might be an injury on the field. Still throws the disc to Scott. Taps the disc in. Looks off the dump to Scott. Gets it off to Scott again. Scott puts it center field to Walsh. Scott floating around for that dump. Walsh, he puts it out to space. Caught by Sean. Ryan rips the disc. Nice pull right into the end zone. Joey receives. Puts it outfield to Gabe. Recenters it. Makes a strike. Ooh, continues the strike because Andy gets it. Ooh. A little high on the swing there. It's dropped. Walshy with the pickup. Swings to Scott. Scott looking for that beeline to the end zone. Walshy with the great cut. Pulls off. Joey receives. Swings it up to Gabe. Ooh, Gabe puts up a meaty hammer. And Wojo comes down with it easily. Andy with the pull. Fielded by Scott. Mike with the nice jab step. Puts it out to Matt. Matt receives. Andy still with a straight up mark. Letting Matt throw all the backhands he wants. Scott missing the under to Scott. Scott missing the under to Mike. Taps the disc in. Looks for the easy swing to Andy. Continues to Joey. Puts up the hammer. It's a fat one. Matt Ferris indeed comes down with it. About through the first half here. Gabe puts up the pull. Received by Scott. All of his cutters looking upfield. No one ready to work the pool. Oh, Scott putting out the fake, but gets it out. And Matt comes down with it. Big. Matt Marsick pull. Nice float down the end zone. Wojo taking the risk, jumping up to get it. Joey looking upfield. He swings it center field to Wojo. Wojo with the strike throw to Joey, center field. Joey with the backhand break right to the end zone. Easily fielded by Gabe.
Your dick in his pocket.
I'm really hoping we get a weekly Kevin quote.
The pull's off and it hits the ceiling. So new league ruling for that is if you hit the netting on the top, disc is taken at center field. But that was decided post game. A quick point. A hammer to Sean. First half of the game looking pretty even. Pull goes up. Fielded by Gabe. Wojo's got to look for that. Off the pull. Get that easy yardage. Ooh, good handler movement. Oh, Walshy coming down, getting a bit of that disc in his hand. Coming down.
D from behind.
Yeah.
The behind D.
That was very good handler movement from Team Wojo, though. Matt with the fierce under. Looking for a little something from his team. Asking them to put forth the same effort. Swings it over to Walshy. Walshy looking. Puts out a nice backhand to center field. Scott doing the same, continuing over to Matt. Scott making an upfield cut break side. Clear space. Just so he could get that nice under to the open side. Puts out the nice backhand. Ooh, D by Joey. Really putting his body out there. Great play. Taps the disc in. Disc is live. Seeing a bit of cross movement from the cutters. Wojo coming back to handle. Gabe looking to break deep. It's alright. Andy takes it easy. Knows he doesn't have the throw. Swings it over to Wojo. Wojo puts it big to Andy, breaking after that dump back to him. Scott picks up, taps in, fakes big. Gabe bites a little bit on that. Low throw, turfs it. We're seeing a turnover, center field. Wojo picks up. Doesn't need to tap in, but does it anyway. What a gent. Gabe with the fake. And another assist to Gabe. Alright, we're on the second half of the game here. Strong showing from both teams. A lot of good things happening. A lot to be improved on. Pulls up. Scott feels it. Good. Cutters are looking back to the handler on the pull. Getting that easy yardage. Looks like Scott and Mike are working outfield. Ooh, a foot block from Matt Ferris. But Sean somehow comes down with it. Dumps it back to Walshy. Walshy swings it center field to Scott. Scott putting out the under. Mike Long fields it. Swings it back center to Scott. Scott putting out the break side throw. Sean laying out for it, but not quite coming down. Puts out the under to Gabe. Gabe looking big. Puts the disc out. Just a bit too much of a lead in front of Joey. Disc gets tapped in. Matt Ferris guards it well. Sean puts it up line to Walshy. Good break throw. Walshy resets to his handler. Scott motions. He says, we need some yardage. I can't keep it throwing it downfield. Mike Long puts up the disc. Scott turns on the turbo. Makes it. Alright, Scott rips the pull. Out the back. Gabe picks up, taps in. Scott saying, I'm not letting any more backhands off. Throws a strike. Joey coming for the under open side. Matt Ferris coming in for the nice under. Oh, gets the break throw off on Mike Long. Gabe receives, puts out the lefty center field. Wojo pumping people off. Throws the open side swing. Ooh, a nice D by Walshy. Centers the disc to Matt Marsick. Matt going for the under to Scott. Scott looking upfield. Puts out the break throw and it's D'd by Gabe. Smacks it about 20 yards. Beautiful Mac. Bit of confusion on the field. No one really registering, hey, disc is live. Wojo with a lackadaisical pull, still getting a good amount of yardage out of it. Ooh, in the hand block into Scott. Immediately picking up, seeing his opportunity, and putting out a nice floater to Matt Ferris in the end zone. Wojo's real happy about that one. Pulls up. Matt receives. Oh, Scott really wanting to work that disc with Matt. Almost losing his pivot foot, getting a travel out. Mike Long misjudging Sean's intent on that cut. Sean slipping due to lack of cleats. Matt jumping into defense. Ooh, doesn't want to let Gabe get that strike cut. Disc is up and thrown out the back, though. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, yeah, that was Scott.
That was received by Andy. I was looking at John Edwards in the back. Disc is live. Andy with the pull, fielded by Scott. Puts it out to Mike Long. Mike Long immediately swinging back. Puts it upfield to Matt. Swings it back center to get some space open on the field. Sean gets the disc, puts it back center to Scott. Scott ripping a backhand up to Matt, who made the cuts. And he doinks it. Unfortunate. They really needed that point. After being broken and having your morale down, you really gotta come back and hold. Gabe tacks the disc in, puts out blind to Andy. Andy looking a little bit stuck. Gets it offline back to Gabe. Wojo with the breaks and a cut. Puts it up. Fat forehand rip. Matt Ferris again coming down with the disc. Alright, we got a hand disc coming in. Ooh, Scott really running up on that pull. He's hungry for them yards. Walshy up to Matt. Matt putting out the nice OI forehand. Scott coming down with an excellent cut. Walshy stuck on line. Matt relieving the pressure, stopping the bleeding. Walshy staying under to help out the handlers. Throws it back to Sean, who's hanging out backfield. Scott doinking the pass. It's really unfortunate. Gabe putting up the hammer. Out the back. Taps the disc in. Walshy the only one moving out here. Swings it to Scott. Scott faking the backhand here. Gets the strike throw. Oh, Matt looking to continue. Gets it up line to Walshy. Puts it out, but it's a bit far for Scott. Wojo taps the disc in. Pumping people off left and right. Gabe gets the under. Fakes big. Puts it out to Joey, who's wide. Right in front of the line. Ooh, Walshy doesn't try and get up and block that disc. And that's a point for Wojo's team. Andy with the pull. Fielded by Matt. Easy throw up to Walshy. Stays back to help. He needs an under. Puts it out center field to Walshy. Sean's got his dump. Ooh, puts out a bit of a blade, caught by Matt Ferris. Up line to Joey, break side. Ooh, Sean trying to keep him on line here. Doesn't want anything to come off center field. Joey breaking. Fakes, puts out a nice swing. A little give and go. Joey needs something. Wojo comes back, puts out a hell of a interesting throw. Looked like he turfed it, but barely caught by Matt Ferris. He has some hands today. It looks like there's just a lot of good communication happening out there on Wojo's team. People know what they want, and they're working with each other real well. Gabe with the forehand pull. Scott fielding. Ooh, Wojo with the hustle so he can't get that throw to Walshy off. I'd like to see a lot more of that off pulls. People hustling downfield. Gets the throw out to Sean. Sean looks a little stuck on line. Walshy's clogging backfield. Scott clears it. Puts a high release backhand out to Walshy. Continue up line. Mike Long doesn't make it. Matt Ferris with the pickup. Joey looking to reset. Ooh, gets off the backhand up line. Wojo faking big. Ooh, with Walshy with his third D. Picks up disc. People aren't moving. He's not having any options here. Stall count's getting high. Barely gets it off to Scott. Joey almost with the poach D. Sean just kind of chilling backfield. Swings it to Mike. Mike puts it up line. Gabe with the big up. Coming down with the disc. Sean's really got to start moving here. Almost redeeming himself here. Up line to Matt Ferris. Ooh, puts out the nice forehand. Thought they had a hand. Disc is in. Mike Long feels the pull. Centers to Walshy. Continues over to Scott. Ooh, Scott looked big. Matt Marsick, excellent cut deep, comes down within the end zone. That's been their look all game. For now, they stop all the breaks coming from Wojo's team. Now let's see if they can hold and get a break of their own. Discs in. Fielded by Matt Ferris. Centers it to Wojo. Wojo looking to continue. No. Puts out a big shot. Just a bit much in front of Gabe. Another opportunity handed to Scott's team. Let's see what they do with it. Ooh, Scott with a nice fake throw break side. Unfortunately, D'd by Matt Ferris. Gabe picks up. Wojo cuts strike. Looked off. Gabe with what I can only describe as a dumpster fire of a throw. Trying to stunt, but only to get a turn into a Callahan. Can't even complain about it. Rolling break falls out of frame, and that's the first game of the season. Wojo's team over Scott's.
All right, so one of the things I don't know exactly what strategy either team's going for, if they're trying to do a particular offense or particular defense, but one of the things I'm going to focus on in this is trying to highlight why you might choose, the advantages and disadvantages of doing one versus not doing one. And the hint is there's a lot of advantages to doing things coherently. Look, for instance, at the way that Jan's guarding Higgy, a little more straight up, giving Higgy the opportunity to put the disc pretty much wherever he wants to. Same thing here, little softer of a force there, but still can put it wherever he wants to. And then who is that? Higgy with the hammer. When he's marking you straight up like that, it's probably in your best interest to take your time and put up a good throw, because he's giving you an opportunity to throw it to pretty much anywhere you want as long as you take the time to let the cut set up. Dan takes the shot to Zach, and he can't bring it in. Tries to milk it, ends up getting milked himself. All right, Ross on the pickup. Ooh, Higgy snags it, recovers, stalls ticking, looking downfield, fakes out the cameraman, gives the break side little chotch up there to John. Ross to Higgy. Higgy fakes out the cameraman again, takes a shot to John. John letting things kind of slow down a little bit, taking his time, gives a nice calculated throw to Tia near the end zone. Ooh, and Tia throws it a little behind her man. That was a really good look. Just, keep your hand flatter when you throw those and throw it in front of John. Throw it to space, and that'll work 100% of the time. Nice job. All right, Kevin the Zach P. Zach P looking deep. Gives a little bit of a floater. Higgy confirms the defense. Way to stay with it. That goes on his stat sheet as a block for sure. Jan, again, marking Higgy straight up, which it's tough to choose what to do when no one's really doing anything coherent. But in general, letting the guy you're marking do whatever he wants to is not a high percentage move. T marks Kevin. Straight up. Passes to Zach S. Zach S to Jan. Jan looking deep. Hammers. Ooh, that was really nice. Just want to take a second here to point out that Kevin, in showing up to our rec league frisbee team, chose to wear the full uniform from the professional team that he's on. Matching shorts, shirt, and I think that's even a hat. I don't want to say that makes him a dick, but come on. Kevin throws a hand up. Pulls it to the other team. Trying to avoid giving it to Kevin, or giving it to Dan, sorry. Dan ends up picking it up anyways. Bring it up to the line. Kevin with a soft force. A little bit of a risky throw to Ross. Riskier throw back to Dan right over Kevin's head. Dan fakes it and gives the high release flick. Sometimes you gotta do that. Keep him honest. Dan with a nice hard fake. Looks for the foot block. Zach gets it in the end zone and hands it off to Andy. Kevin puts the hand up. And here comes the pull. Trying again to give it to the opposite side of the field that Dan Duble's on. He ends up with it pretty quickly anyways. Steps out, flick to John. A little high. John comes down with it anyways. The man's a real Randy Moss. John the Higgy. Higgy looking deep. Throws kind of a bladey throw. Cross field. Ends up in the net. I like the step out. Could have used a little bit better of an angle on the throw. Dan with a nice hard mark, not letting Kevin get anything. Kevin has to swing it all the way back to Andy. Way to stay aware of where the disc's going, Andy. Nice job. Back to Kevin, opens up some space for him. Andy, his man's way off, and Zach comes down with it, gets big. Zach with the stall one hammer. If you'd give him a nice floaty backhand, it would have been a lot more guaranteed. Higgy to Ross. Ross straight to Dan. Give him a little room to operate. Up to Higgy on the sideline. Luckily, the mark's taking his time to catch up. Hard mark. Higgy doesn't have a lot of places to put it. High stall count. Feeds it up the cram line to Ross. And Ross with the crossfield blade to John. If someone doesn't have a good backhand and you force him, or a good forehand, and you force him to throw forehand, you're gonna get more Ds. Gives it to Kevin. Forward to Andy. Prime example of someone who does not have a great forehand. If Tia were to give a really hard mark there and not let him get the backhand off, it's not a guaranteed D, but she's really increasing her chances. Andy's going to have to do a lot more of that kind of thing, that gross OI bladey backhand if he's got a good mark on him. Zach catches it, looks for the score really up, and without a mark, he can get that off no problem for the easy point. The hand. Still the hand. The hand. And the pull. Is Kevin ever going to let anyone else pull? Ooh, goes with the roller. Dan snags it up. Not going to let himself lose any more yardage. Tia catches it on the sideline. Straight back to Dan. Nice flick to Ross. Continuing to cram it up the cram line. And a nice swing to John. Way to really open up the field and get yourself some more room to operate. Really nice throw by Dan. Unfortunately, your men weren't on the right side of the defense. Jan with the pickup. Throws a little bladey one to Kevin. Kevin's stuck on the sideline. Gives to Zach. Zach to Zach. That Zach connection. Zach squared. Jan with the disc. Taking his time to assess the field. Wants to look for it. Ooh, nice little blade to Kevin. Or not really a blade, I guess. It was just a nice throw. Nice little OI to Kevin. And Tia to confirm the D. Good look by Kevin. Unfortunately, Tia and Jan were in the opposite positions of what you wanted there. Jan with the straight up mark. Zach to confirm the defense. Forcing sideline. That's a good move. That's a vet move, Ross. Kevin to Zach. Zach wants the point. Tries to feed Jan. Does not quite get it there in time. Dan walking up to tap it in. John on a real nice under. Gives it to Tia on the sideline. Ross to Dan. I'm seeing some solid disc movement here. Not giving the defense time to set up and reacquaint themselves. Unfortunately, Tia just drops it there, but that was a really nice job of moving the disc around the field, making sure that things stay fluid. Because when things stay fluid, it's harder for the defense to be in the right position. Kevin steps up. Flicks to Zach. Zach wants it. Ooh, fakes out the cameraman a little bit there. And takes the shot. Nice D by Ross. Way to not let him get those. Way to confirm the D on those 50-50 balls. Same position we were in a minute ago. Dan and Kevin in the corner. Kevin with the hand block and the swat to bring it down for good. That was really nice. Really well done, Kevin. It's almost like you're a pro. And then just dinks her up there to Zach. Kevin grabbing some water in the background. It's important to stay hydrated during these long games. Nice pull by Zach. Just floats just to the back of the end zone. Higgy with the fake. No one in the backfield. Alright, both handlers now have marks or men. Ross looking for something upfield. Doesn't see it. Dumps to Dan. Dan looks crossfield. who comes back, throws the 50-50 ball, and Zach Guest does a good job of keeping position. Way to do the right thing. Zach to Andy. Is Andy left-handed? I guess I've never noticed that. Or maybe he's just learning to throw left-handed instead of throwing a flick. Or maybe I'm an idiot and that was his right hand the whole time. I was just looking straight at him. I think that's exactly what happened. Anyways, Andy with the gross, blady OI that worked to Zach. Zach with the low flick for the pole. Higgy to Dan. Higgy wide open on the sideline. Looks upfield, doesn't see anything. Stall count's getting high, dumps to Dan. Dan with the stall one, high release flick. I don't love it. Sometimes it just works. And then Higgy with the stall one, high release scuba, or with the stall one scuba. Taking a couple seconds here to assess the situation, figure out what they did right and wrong on that point. John with the low pull, straight to Kevin. To Zach P. Nice cut, Andy. Don't love the hammer. Several different ways you could have gotten it to him other than that. I don't know if that was a good mark or what, but you forced him to throw a bad throw. That's your goal as mark. Good look by Dan to the John coming open for the under. And just sneaks it in there to Tia. Higgy with the hand. Steps forward. Pulls it. High pull. To Kevin. Gives his team a nice time to get down there. Or enough time to get down there. Zach with the high crossfield backhand. That was a good field vision. Way to be aware and come back for the point. And the hand is up. Kevin refusing to let anyone else on his team pull yet again. Gives a little bit of a roller to Dan Dubel, looking for easy yardage. Gets some right away to Ross. No mark on Ross, taking his time to give it to Tia. And the video cuts. I guess that was 2 turns and a point. I don't know. Dan's going the other direction now. Sees something. Does not get it. Kevin picks up, passes to Zach Palmentera. Zach Palmentera looks downfield, flicks to Jan. Kevin strikes forward. Jan dumps back to Zach Palmentera. Palmentera is looking. Ooh. Dumps it to Zach S., who takes a shot. Really good look. If he'd put a little more float on it, would have been a guaranteed point. Just a little too low and fast. Zach does a good job of getting back on D. Not going to give Dan anything easy. My advice to... I'm just noticing Tia do it a lot. A couple other people do it in general. Instead of taking hard, all-out cuts and conserving your energy and not moving around quite as much, but being much more deliberate when you do, you're kind of running around the field in circles, almost like you're trying to tire your man out, which will work earlier in the season when everyone's out of shape, but in terms of long-term development, you want to do fewer really hard cuts. Hey, crossfield to Ross. Man's catching up. Now that man catching up is giving Ross a lot of opportunity to do whatever he wants to. Like, give Dan the point right in the end zone. Or, right near the end zone, sorry. Kevin's team not having quite the same chemistry and getting gassed a little bit, it looks like. Ooh, Ross with the 360. Not sure where it went, though. Clearly not where he wanted it to based on where everyone's looking. Way to grind, boys. Alright, back to the game. Kevin takes a shot right out the gate. Ooh, very nice snag, Zach. Zach to Andy. Back to Zach. When Zach makes a nice snag like that, you gotta let him score. Way to be a gentleman, Andy. Alright, Kevin finally puts the hands up. And throws the blade. What a BM. He's already up. trying to give his team, I don't know, something. There's no good reason to throw that as far as I'm concerned. There might be one, I just don't know it. Kevin with a nice look to John, throws a little behind him, but John's got those Randy Moss hands. He's never going to not come up with it. And John has a really nice look to Dan, just overthrows it a little bit. And that's totally okay. That's going to happen a lot indoors, especially before you get used to it. Without any wind, that completely stagnant air, you don't need to use nearly as much zip on it to get it where it needs to go. All right. Kevin kind of stuck in his own end zone a little bit. Takes a shot up to a wide open Andy Shirk. John started off doing a nice job, nice hard mark on Andy, but came off him a little bit and let him get that backhand throw off to Kevin. And looks like Dan too is, looks like in general, a lot of the people who are doing a good job with hard marks at the beginning of the game are now coming off a little bit, marking straight up a little more often. Zach's looking, doesn't see anything, dumps to Kevin, strikes forward, gets in the way of the lane a little bit. Andy to Zach to Kevin, wants to take the shot, doesn't see it, throws it to the other side. Zach S. comes down with a 50-50 ball. What a natural athlete. Kevin with the hand, winds up and throws deep. Another roller for no apparent reason. Zach to Higgy. Way to get those easy yards fast. Back to Dan. Keeping the field open, making sure he has options. Pass to Tia. Tia comes up with it. No mark. Zach S. overcommitted. And Tia does not quite get there in time. That was a really nice look. Really nice look. If I had a little tiny more float on it, or, Tia would have eaten her Wheaties this morning, would have been a beautiful pass. Something for the highlight reel for sure. We get a nice shot of the facility here. Can we just take a second to appreciate how nice this place is? Would have been kind of cool if we had somewhere with bleachers or a balcony so we could get a little more of a bird's eye view of the play, but hey, I'm not complaining. This place is great. Ooh, Zach milks it for a couple more yards. T does a decent job of forcing him to the sideline. Makes him put up that hammer. Now that Kevin's off the field, Zach S. finally has a chance to pull. Way to go, guys. Straight to Dan Double. To John. To Higgy. Looking deep. Starting to get a little bit high in the stall count. Dan looks for the dump. Gets it. And feeds it straight to the other side. Tia doesn't quite get big enough. They're almost there. Zach to Jan. I couldn't tell if that was a drop or a D, but Dan's team's got the disc again. Higgy has a great cut, and Dan plays it exactly where it needs to go. That, out of anything I saw in the highlight reel earlier today, that was my favorite play.